Welcome. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. We want to share a video with you. I've got Mike Sword, one of our laymen in our church. He's also part of my advisory team with me. Also have Pastor Mike, one of our executive pastors on our lead team here. We just want to get this video for you. I want to talk to you about moving forward, how we're going to include on-site worship in what we're doing now. But I want to challenge you that as we move forward, the number one thing we want to do is lean into our vision statement. Loving God, loving people at home and around the world. I want to read a couple of scriptures for you. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, it says, everything is permissible, but not everything is helpful. Everything is permissible, but not everything builds up. No one should seek his own good, but the good of other people. Then down in verse 31, it says, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do everything for God's glory. Give no offense to the Jew or to the Greek or to the church of God. Just as I also try to please all people in all things, not seeking my own profit, but the profit of many, that they might be saved.
So Pastor, with these verses in mind, how does that guide us for preparing to open?
Well, Mike, that's a great question, because what we want to do is, everything we do, whether it's in our worship service, our Facebook post, everything we're doing, we want to lean into the attitude of love and respect. That's what we want to do. We want to respect people, even the ones we don't agree with. But this is a pretty passionate topic. And so we want to do that. We want to treat them with love and respect in everything we do. Our objective is, as we love them through this and respect them out of love, we want to create an atmosphere, an environment here that's as safe as we know how, and that it feels safe. Interesting thing I read this morning is that, when Jesus was asked the greatest command in all the Bible, he said, love God and love your neighbor. I read this morning that love your neighbor command is repeated 9 times in the New Testament. It's almost as if he wanted us to get this idea of loving each other, right?
You would think. So, Pastor, do you have any concerns that the way we're doing this is going to exclude anyone?
Yeah, I do. One of the things we teach and have taught for years, Mike, on our lead team and through our church is that every decision a church makes, it excludes somebody. So what we want to do as a church, and what we've been trying to do for 15 years now, is make decisions that exclude the smallest number of people. And this is a very passionate topic. Everybody's got a lot of different ideas of what we should do, shouldn't do. So what we want to do as a church and as leaders is to lean into loving them and respecting them and err on the side of caution and allow everybody to have their opinion, but yet do it in a way that we respect each other as we move forward and exclude as few people as possible.
Nice. So can you, in a few words, kind of summarize your plan for opening?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's just loving them, respecting them, leaning into our vision statement, loving God, loving people at home and around the world, and that everything we do is that we approach it from a respect position. Understand that people may have a difference of opinion, but we want to move forward. The objective here is to come in and worship God from this facility and to keep doing it on our social media, but the idea is to come here and worship together as much as we can.
Okay, so shall we go in?
Yeah, I think we ought to. Let's go inside and see what it looks like.
Alrighty. I see a number of differences. The divider's down. There's a sanitation station. Yeah. The chairs, looks like half the chairs are missing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, do you want to talk about the divider first?
Yeah, let's walk through those changes. A lot of changes we've made to get ready for this. The divider's a great thing to start with because it's the first thing you see when you come in the front doors. Mike, if you remember, we created that space to create a space that when you came in, there was a place to hang out, talk, and just get together without disrupting anything that might already be going on in the service or being stared at the whole time. But the issue now is with social distancing, we can't have those spaces. So we removed the divider to remove an area of potential congestion.
Wow. Yeah, congestion is going to be a real big issue, especially for larger families, for families with children, for those with disabilities.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And we've talked about, this, you've been on some of the meetings. We've been talking about this with our lead team. We've been talking about with the advisory team, individuals, because our space is limited in what we can do and trying to move people through here easily. So getting rid of this space is not going to be as bad as the back door. That's going to be a real area of congestion. We're going to need everybody. Basically, what we need is everybody to be a part of the solution, to move through these places quickly and easily, not hang out in them. Watch for families, especially larger families or people with disabilities, and move out. Let them go first. Let them come in or go out first, and that way they can move in and out as quickly as possible. As you know, we at Grace, we love to hang out, and that's a great thing about this church. But right now, during this season, we can't do that as much in here. It creates congested areas. It eliminates the social distancing. So we're going to have to ask everybody to move outside and to hang out there or by their cars or those kind of things, so that we eliminate or try to keep down the congested areas as much as possible.
So that reminds me of another verse, Colossians 3:14, which says basically, put on love, which binds everything together in perfect unity. What an awesome opportunity to be an example of Jesus.
Yes.
So what do you say? Shall we talk about the sanitation station?
Yeah, we do. And we're going to talk about hand sanitizers. We're going to talk about masks. I love that verse. The literal translation is to clothe yourself, to put it on, to clothe yourself with love. And that's what we want to do. So if we use the hand sanitizer, we're loving people. We're making sure to get rid of those germs. We're going to have a sign up here that says, spread the gospel, not germs. That's my favorite sign. And so we're going to be doing that. And we're going to have masks here available to you. We're going to ask everybody to wear your mask. We're asking you, if you have one at home, bring that. If you get here and you don't have one, we'll have one to give you. I know it's an awkward topic and a lot of passion about it, but everywhere you go right now, most places you go, they're requiring it to have it. We're asking you to do that, to lean into that 1 Corinthians 10:24, to do what's good for the other person. There's a lot of discussion what's right, but what we do know is there's a lot of people with fears about this, and maybe we could open the door for the gospel for those people that do have those fears just by simply wearing a mask and using a hand sanitizer. Oh, by the way, Mike, one other thing about the mask is we're going to ask the parents of preschoolers to make their decision of whether their kids wear the mask or not. I know there's a lot of discussion with CDC, what ages and all that stuff, so we're not going to get into that. Parents of preschoolers, they'll make that decision what's best for their children.
Yeah, that's a really good point on the children and the masks. So shall we discuss the signs?
Yeah, we've got a lot of signs coming. Hopefully they'll get here by the end of the month. Hopefully they'll be here by the time we open, have our first on-site worship time. We've got new entrance signs for outside, letting people know where to enter the building at. We've got alternate exit signs. We have hand sanitizing signs. We have new signs for the restrooms, because we're going to have a capacity of 2 in each restroom. And so there's signs in there. We also will have signs in the restrooms asking people, there'll be a little sign there next to Clorox or some type of disinfectant wipes, and that sign will be asking people to take a disinfectant wipe and wipe down everything that you touched on the way out. And that way you're just kind of helping us keep the building clean and making that step of loving and respecting the next person that goes through there. A lot of new signs. I think they'll be helpful for us then.
So it sounds like a lot of things for people to be watching for with the signs. And so shall we talk about the new seating arrangements?
Yeah, let's talk about the seats. Mike, before we talk about the seating, I wanted to talk about a couple of more things. We've installed 2 new boxes. There's one at the front door for connect cards and offering envelopes. We're not going to be receiving an offering during the service. We're going to let you drop them into these boxes, again, trying to eliminate those contact issues. And so we've done that. But so there's one here at the front door and there's one at the back door. We're also going to change how we do communion. The Lord's Supper, we bought or ordered sealed containers that have both elements in them. They're back ordered, so as soon as they get here, we'll do a Lord's Supper. But both of these issues, we won't be doing them or passing elements during the worship time, so that we can eliminate another contact issue. Mike, as you can see, we've arranged all the chairs with 6-foot spacing between the aisles, between the groups. They've been set up in family groups of 3 or 4. We'll have our turnaround teams, the teams that get the building ready between services, also helping people. If they're individuals and they need a chair, or a couple needs 2 chairs, we'll rearrange for them as well. But because we're in limited seating, our capacity is different. And so we're going to do that. So we're going to take it down. We have 6-foot spacing, and that way it allows the extra chairs for them. The praise team, when they get done, they'll come down and sit on the front row, allowing all the rest of the chairs to be available for those that register for the service.
Register. So what does that mean? How does that work?
Well, the registering goes back to the limited number of people we can have. We have to know how many are coming. We don't want to turn people away at the door. So we figured out in each service how many people it takes to do the service, how many people we can allow, and we're allowing a buffer of so many people in each service for anybody that does walk in, new people, greeters, somebody from the community looking for a church. And so what will happen, we'll send out an email. It'll go to everybody, just all the other emails we've been sending out. And you can go on that email and pick the service you want to attend, the 9 or the 10:45. Sign up for that. Or you can select that you're going to stay home and continue to watch on social media right now, because that's a valuable way to do these things right now. So there'll be 3 options there, the 9, 10:45, or watching from home on social media. And when you click that, if you're coming to the service, it'll reserve your seat here, and it'll send you an email letting you know the requirements and things that's expected from you when you get here. Make your transition from home to here a little more enjoyable.
So, Pastor, how does the 50-person limit compare to our normal church attendance?
Well, that's a great question. The 50 limitation from the state of Nevada really doesn't matter a lot to us. Our maximum capacity in this room is 120, 125. We typically set up about 101 chairs with our dividers and everything we have going on. So 50% of that, 50 people, when you do this, the social distancing, we can only get about 50 chairs in here. So the limit from the state really isn't an issue for us. Our space is limiting us to 50 people. So we'll have 2 services. We'll have one at 9, one at 10:45. In the first service at 9 o'clock, that will be for 12 years old and older. So adults and teenagers can come to the first service. And then the second service is what we're calling a family service. And that can be all ages, infants up, whatever. But the first service, there won't be any younger children. And the second service, there very possibly could be. And so, again, just trying to help take care of people. And we won't have any children's classes going on. And so whoever comes with you will be with you. Our teams are purchasing some items now, like crayons and different handouts to give to the kids to help keep them engaged in what's going on. But we're going to have those 2 services. And the 50, again, going back to that registration, that's going to be very important, so that you let us know which service you're going to be coming to, because our space limits us to 50 people.
So what other precautions are being put in place?
Well, a couple other things. Standing over here by the restrooms, our water fountains will be shut down. As you can see, they've been wrapped with plastic. So anybody coming that wants water, they need to bring a bottle of water with them. You see another hand sanitizing station here. Also our bathroom that I mentioned earlier, that they'll be at capacity of 2. There'll be a sign somewhere out here only allowing 2 people in the restroom. And also, just as a reminder, we're going to ask people to take the disinfectant wipes and wipe down whatever they touch back here, because again, it just loves that next person and takes care of them and helping us with all these precautions we have in place.
So, Pastor, are there any other topics that we need to discuss?
Yeah, there's a few things. For example, when you come in, we're going to have digital handouts. You'll be able to get those off of whatever device you're using. You can either fill them out online, you can print them. If you fill them out online, you can actually have them emailed to you later, so you have them at home. We're also our life groups can continue to meet as they're doing now, or they can start meeting in person in June. If they do decide to meet in groups in person, they need to follow the government and medical professionals' guidelines of social distancing and mask as well. But they can start making some of those changes. I think the other thing is wellness checks. We're asking everybody to just check. If you've had a fever in the last 24 hours, if you've been exposed to someone who had COVID-19 or they've been exposed, we're asking you to stay home and worship online with us and not be here in person. Let's, again, that loving that other person, that doing what's right for the next person thing. So we just want to ask everybody to do that as well. So those are some of the last things I think we need to cover.
So, Pastor, we have covered a lot of information today, and so I've taken some notes, and I'm going to try and summarize the highlights of what we've discussed.
That'd be good.
So, 1 Corinthians 10 teaches us to prefer others for the sake of the gospel.
Right.
We need to register on Breeze or register online. We need to enter the building normally. We don't want to hang out at the entrances because we're all part of the solution.
Right.
There is a sanitizing station as soon as you come in, and if you don't have a mask, will be disposable masks there for you.
At both entrances.
At both entrances, right? After the sanitizing station and the mask, find a seat with your family group, right? And while you're here, enter into worship. That's the real reason we're here, is to worship. Use the electronic listening guide when it's developed. Place connect cards and offerings into the boxes at either entrance.
Right.
And then exit deferring in love to others as you exit.
I think you got it, Mike. Grace, I want to thank you again for joining us and being here with us tonight for this video. I want to thank both Mikes for helping me out and getting it done. I just want to remind you, we want to lean into our vision statement, loving God, loving people at home and around the world. Let's make choices and decisions that put the other person first. Grace, as always, I just want to remind you, I love you, God loves you, and your church needs you. Hope to see you in one of our worship services. See you later.